like the pride of having all that success, but then also the pressure that comes with that?
Oh. Man, we're coming out swinging. We're starting out the giant questions. Gosh, there's a lot in that one. I'll start with pride, since that was the first word that you emphasized. It means so much to me, because I didn't know that I wanted to do this when I was all of your ages in college, because I had no one to look up to who was doing it. Mm-hmm. The first time I heard a woman doing play-by-play was my junior year in college, and that was not that long ago. So the fact that now I'm here speaking at a university tonight, and I know that not necessarily everybody I'm going to be talking to tonight wants to get into play-by-play, but the fact that I'm coming here as a representative of that job in our industry, I take a lot of pride in that, because I do wish that I would have known when I was in college, because that's one of the things I say all the time. I missed hundreds of reps because so many of the guys who are my age, who are doing what I do, they did games all 4 years of college because they grew up knowing that this was something they could do. So they have that 4-year head start on me. There's nothing I can do about that now, but if I can make it visible to the next generation that this is something you can do, I take a lot of pride in that. And when it comes to the pressure, or should I stop and you want to ask another question?
No, continue.
Okay. And the pressure, yeah, I think the pressure has been really intense for over a decade now, you know. The firsts are funny because I didn't ever do this because I wanted to be the center of attention. That's why I love doing play-by-play, because the game and the players are the center of attention. I just get to be the soundtrack for it. But I mean, going back over a decade, I was the first woman on sports radio in San Francisco. And those first 6 months were very difficult because I thought I knew what the blowback and the response was going to be. You know, I played sports. I know how to talk sports. Just because I'm a chick, it's not going to matter. And in San Francisco, a place that I think we all look at as extremely progressive in the entire, you know, country, there was a lot of blowback to a chick being on a sports radio station, even though I was born and raised cheering for all the teams and knew all the things that the guys I was working with knew as well. So that was a great intro to the pressure. And all the firsts that I've accomplished leading up to this new gig with the Sixers, I'm so thankful for, because I had more of those experiences which prepared me for what the pressure of this position was going to be like. But at the same time, I'm sure we've all heard the old cliche, pressure is a privilege, right? Like, how lucky am I that I get this pressure? And getting back to what I was saying earlier, bring it on. I'm so confident in where I am now, and I have such a great support system that if I can take, you know, the awful comments on social media and emails for some people who are coming up and want to do this, and hopefully make it easier for them by doing that, then I'll be able to really consider my career a success.
Well, you said you didn't have anyone to really look up to when you were growing up. How does it feel now to know that you can be that for girls growing up? You can be that person they look up to. And what's the advice you have for those young girls and even girls in college who are looking to get into sports media?
Well, first to the women who want to do this, you can. And there is a place for you if you work your tail off and are prepared and ready and deserving of the position. And that goes for every aspect of our industry now, not just what I do. You know, I've done anchoring, I've done reporting, I've done sports radio, I've written, I've done so many aspects of our industry. And we are finally getting to the point where if you are good at what you do, regardless of who you are or what you look like, people are starting to realize that you could be great for their company, which is awesome. But I also think it's really important to point out to the guys who are growing up, that's a really big thing that I focus on as well. It's really important that in addition to hopefully inspiring some women to get into this industry, that I'm also showing young guys that women can do this, so that they grow up supporting the girls who are the same age as them and saying, you know, not saying, oh, why are you trying to do that? Because I had so much of that, even in the fall. I mean, I was calling college football with Mike Golick, super famous Mike Golick, right? And I understand that women calling football is new, but multiple booths that I walked into with Mike Golick as his play-by-play announcer doing a national college football radio broadcast, my statistician or young college boy would ask me, "Are you the stage manager? Are you Mike's wife?"
That's great.
And I could only laugh, right? I want to say no. I'm not, but that's not what I'm going to say, right? We're in college. I'm going to cuss occasionally for you guys.
Of course.
But I know that I'm probably the first woman they've ever seen doing it. So it's my responsibility to say, oh no, I'm actually the play-by-play announcer.
Mm-hmm.
And for then me to go out for the next 4 quarters and kick the snot out of that broadcast so that at the end they go, whoa, that was really good. And now their mind has shifted just a little bit. And they're going to look at the world differently just because of one game I might have called that they heard. Now again, I don't know if I'm going to have that impact. I don't go into a broadcast thinking about that stuff. I go into each broadcast thinking, I need to do the best I can on this game. And if anything other than just calling a great game comes out of that, then that's awesome. That's even better. And to college women and guys, this is a really tough, competitive industry. But at the same time, it is so rewarding and so fun. I'm getting to call Sixers games and get paid for it. Yeah. How rad is that? I've covered Super Bowls. I've covered World Series parades. I've covered NBA championships back in the Bay Area, and I'm really hoping that I get to MC a NBA championship parade here in the next little while. But it's really hard, and it's nights and weekends and holidays, and you're going to piss your friends off and your family, and it's going to be hard. But if you keep in those hard moments, which I still have, even now, they never go away, even in those hard moments, if you look inside yourself and say, is this what I want to do? And you keep coming back to that, yes, just keep going, because my path has been different than a lot of my friends. It's been longer and harder, and at the same time I know there's plenty of people out there looking at me going, gosh, she's only 38 and she got this job, man, she had it easy. And my response to that is, let me show you the last 16 years of my life when I called 49ers games and then I was sleeping in my car the next week because nobody still could believe that I could do this. So I was still doing updates in the morning and trying to get on the Pac-12 network at night, and so everybody has a different journey. But if this is what you all want to do, keep going back to it each day, and realize that your only competition in this industry is you. And I think that's one of the hardest things, especially with social media right now, because there's comparisons everywhere, right? Like, you see another person with, everybody seems to take pictures before every event they do, and I don't do that, but I understand that that's really difficult for a lot of people, because you're like, oh, she's calling this game, oh, he's at that game, and you get all up in your head. But your only competition is you and getting better, because, like I said at the very beginning of this really long answer, there's space in this industry now for everybody who is good and talented and hardworking and kind and deserving. So try not to get distracted by what other people are doing. Lift other people up, and then just keep focused on your journey.